Look who we got here.
Hi there, my name's Bob Ross. I've been
Hey.
for a long time.
I thought you were gonna, Rob. I thought you were gonna bring it.
Hi, Jerry.
Like Mufasa.
Yeah,
I see. Now that's power. Tell me about it.
I just hear that name and I shudder.
Mufasa.
Ooh. Do it again.
Mufasa. 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 Mufasa.
Join us today as Rob Smith and Steve bring down Mufasa from Seattle for me to look at with our neighbors, and also Mr. Bill joins us with our neighbors to kind of sit and talk about what we would need to do for the bike. This is the first time I've sat on the bike. In case you're new to the channel, I'll be riding this bike out at Bonneville Speed Week in August. So we're just kind of the first session to talk about that. And it'll get a little long, but watch as much as you want. So why don't you pull up a chair and be a fly on the wall here. Hang on to this a minute. Can I throw my leg over it, Rob?
Of course. So you're gonna, yeah.
Okay, here's the big moment.
You're
The big
welcome to
moment.
be at home. So obviously the bars are not gonna be what you're riding with. Watch your right leg.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, there you go. So your bars will be, when you're on it, will be right about somewhere in this area. I got the fight. So mine has a fairing that it cuts off here and this a clear shield starts, and we can trim the shield to your height.
Does it mount to the forks
No, it
or to
hold
the
on.
frame?
Mounts to the forks.
It's a fork mount.
Mounts to the forks.
Okay.
But it's small and it's not like a bat wing or anything. You know
Yeah,
what I
it's
mean?
just, it's just one of those little bubble things.
It's not going to turn into a
I've
sail.
seen it.
Do you have a
but
picture of it?
It's like that.
I've got it. I've got the picture of it on the.
Yeah, it's
on the
like
bump.
kind of like what you got on a thrust.
But I couldn't tell what it was. See, the Thruxton is frame mounted.
Yeah, and the Thruxton frame.
Oh.
It's the top half of the Thruxton kind of shape, right?
Yeah.
So
Um,
I've had it at high speed with that on. You don't even notice it.
150-ish.
Plus.
Wow.
It has, I would say it has zero of the barn door effect that like big screens get with crosswinds, where it tries to, you know,
Yeah.
rip the handlebars out of your hand.
Yeah.
That's what
Hey
it's
guys,
some of the lure bikes.
this is my next door Sherwood
You got
and
it?
his son. Yeah, I got it.
Hi, Sherwood.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How you?
Hey guys, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How you doing? I'm Rob.
Hey Rob, Brett, nice
Brett.
to meet you.
Hi, Brett, Steve.
Hey Steve.
Sherwin?
How does the bars react with the fairing?
I mean, I'm not exaggerating. You literally don't know it's there. It is 100% transparent to handle.
The only problem I have with these bars is like,
Your shoulders are way
Yeah.
up. Yeah, you're. Hold that position, Jerry. Let me get you straight on shot.
It's not.
Yeah, you need to be a lot lower.
It's really awkward at high speed like that.
yeah, I couldn't hold that for 3 minutes.
When you had the bars down here, that looked perfect.
Yeah, when you're down and forward.
When you had that bar sitting across it.
Yeah.
And then you can tuck down right to the
And
instruments.
it feels quite good right there at high speed.
Hey, you got your arms
Your leg.
on the tank?
So, go ahead. And then put your feet up.
Yeah.
Grab the front wheel.
It's just kind of awkward being.
And you can hug the tank with your arms, Jerry.
Yeah. Can we
Yeah.
move the pegs back any?
Yes, some.
An inch or two would.
Yeah.
I mean, what I like is either that or running off the rear foot pegs. But
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Yeah.
today's Sherwood's 83rd birthday, by the way.
Oh, happy birthday,
So you
Sherwood.
gotta think
Sherwood.
Sherwood.
the gauges will be moved a little bit out of your sight.
Yeah.
Helps is so the pegs I can get longer. These longer to move the peg back. The only awkward part will be the shifter. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you just had to pick your foot up to move.
Yeah, you just
Shift.
pick it up, shift, and then put it. We know, once you're at high speed, once you get into fifth, then you can really get your foot back.
Yeah.
For the front end, it's going to go down, drop another probably a whole inch from where it's at.
Now, how about the rear?
And then the rear is going to be, the shocks are going to be built to match, to level the axles, so there's no forward rake.
Oh, I know.
Because the forward rake is what makes the rod twitchy, because it eats up all the trail in the front when you start lifting, you know, going like that.
And the ass up a little bit.
So when we get the small or shorter shocks, And then the axles are level from tire height, and the bike will actually sit level. So you'll gain trail and lose the twitchiness. But if you're feeling up to it, is the land speed build can be sent back in and switched really easy to a drag build on that shock. So it'll have really slow rebound to let it squat and then come out of the hole really hard. And then it'd be, so I don't know if you do drag racing, but.
Oh, I do a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember now. You do a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Sorry.
Well,
That would have been a little funny.
Bill had to
wouldn't
go
it?
up over 200 horsepower to beat that little Thruxton.
But that would give you'd have an opportunity. I mean, it would potentially let you take it.
That's a badass
try
Thruxton.
and crack a.
Well, he comes out of the hole
tracker.
pretty good.
He does come out of the hole
What is
good.
it? The lights come on with the clutch?
Yeah, the ignition's on, so.
Will you be bringing one, or do you want me to bring?
No, I'll bring. I got one.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, so things that still have to change. All the air filtration system has to go. This will not work.
What will it change to, Rob?
I'm not sure yet.
Why won't that work? I'm curious.
Those are going to come off after repeated runs. I've lost a few down the freeway.
Oh.
They don't hold on at real high speed.
And one of the other things that you might want to consider.
That's going to have to get wired tight.
Safety wire type.
It has to.
Those things blow off.
But my bike has negative crankcase pressure, unlike his. So
Yeah, his blew off the
mine,
trailer.
when you pull mine off, there's suction on it. It's the opposite of most rockets because I have a crankcase scavenging valve
Okay.
plumbed to the exhaust.
All right. You might consider one of those.
I was going to ask Rob how to make that.
And then I gotta wire this shut, wire all the oil drain plugs, right? Wire oh yeah, this has to get wired on.
ZX14 wasn't much to me. Didn't feel much different to me.
Yeah, I think there's 80 pounds between them, a full ZX and this.
Jerry, would there be any advantage to removing the front disc brakes and calipers?
On this bike, I don't know. I don't. Of course, you only need one brake. You just use the rear brake, but I don't know that that's going to be an issue.
Okay.
I don't think it'll matter at all on this.
I would prefer what we do on my bike is we pry out the pads from the.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean you can hear it when I was pushing it in. I use really aggressive pads, so they do drag.
They do drag. So
Mhm.
so we pry them out before we start. Of course, when you get down to end, you got to pump it about 8 times before you have any brake.
Yeah.
But you're going straight. You can go straight for a quarter of a mile or so before they start getting mad at you.
Yeah.
So we can run them.
Yeah.
We can run them. You can take these back with you, or we put them on.
Yeah, I want to clear coat this again. It's roughed out for paint,
Yeah.
and then I'll stick them on. after
Okay.
that.
But
Will they go on past the ridge here?
yeah, you probably will need to heat them up, just warm them up just a little bit,
Mm.
so they'll
Smoothly take the curve.
yeah, take the curve.
I'm pretty comfortable working with vinyl.
So right now, what you have on here, looks like you got a road 6 or 5 on the front.
5, yeah.
Is it turned
Backwards.
backwards? I don't think that will fly.
No, it's not going to. The other tire's sitting in the garage, my garage already.
So you get a 150. Is that the new one going to be 150 also?
No, so we have a couple options. The Excedra Max, the matching tire to the rear,
No.
is a 130/70 ZR tire that's W in parentheses rated, so good to 200.
Mhm.
And then the other option is once I get the rear rim swapped, and I get the rear tire
Let me turn this
bought,
off.
I can get a matching front. So it'd be a 120/70 race tire.
If you get a
Do the race tires come any larger than that?
If you get a race tire on the front, can you get a race tire in the back? If you get a race tire, I looked at what your RPMs on your dynos went. And if it can pull those RPMs, we're going to lose a lot for slippage. We're going to lose about 20% of your horsepower just because of the density of the altitude,
Yeah.
up to 20%. But still, yeah,
So
that's going to put your it's gonna put you close to 200 miles an hour. Traction, that's the
Yeah.
problem, is the traction. The
You'll
RPM
never. I don't think you'll ever get to a 9,000 hooked up.
Yeah, hooked up. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Mhm.
You know, it was, we took this black and green ZX 1400 out there, and I never did get it fully hooked up.
Yeah.
And that was 4 miles. And what would be ideal with this one would be able to get to 175 miles an hour in 2 1/4, and I think that's possible.
I think so.
So we can move to the longer track, so it gives you an extra mile.
Diameter.
What maximum speed do the race tires have, Bob?
No,
They're not rated.
they're not rated.
Oh,
That's why
unlimited.
I would run with the ZX 1400,
Mhm.
run with, because the class record's like 221. So it was a race tire, you can run till they fall off
Wonderful.
or they explode.
Uh-huh.
You know, you
Not so
can,
wonderful.
well, actually, there's been guys that have run out there with high boosters and stuff and cooked the tires so badly that they exploded.
Yeah.
You know, there's a real feel you got to get with this. This has been the torque's and probably the highest horsepower by far that I've ridden out there. And so it's going to take to get used to what it'll take. The salt will take. This is going to overwhelm whatever the salt is going to do. So I'm going to have to. But then again, you have a certain distance that you got to go. So at some point in time, you really got to go. So if you can keep it from spinning up too bad, and there's salt places out there where the salt is real soft, only way you can see it is it's a darker color. But when you're going 180 miles an hour or 190 miles an hour, it's hard to see to do
blurry.
anything about it.
I can't imagine what it'd be like going that fast and feeling the rear wheel spinning.
It's
Well, that's
That's
not
gnarly.
that's not as bad as when you get in when the cars get out there and they spin out. Sometimes they spin like this, and the wheels dig ruts.
Yeah, chew up the salt.
Ruts.
right through the track.
Ruts. So getting in a rut is not a problem. You're going to get in it. Getting out sometimes is the kind of issue because you kind of have to.
It bounces the tire up.
Oh yeah, because you can get in the tank slappers when you come out. Depends. Everything has to be done really slow movements out there, and this bike's going to require a lot more finesse than any of the bikes I've ever had because it has more torque and horsepower.
Nice thing is,
It's going to be a
Once you-
challenge for you.
once you get it up
Yeah.
once you get it up 5,000 and up, the engine smooths out a lot. So you know,
Yeah.
engines have their happy place where they run kind of the best with resonance and
Yeah.
everything. So the Rocket has the worst resonance between 18 and 3,000. It's the worst region to ride the bike, and that's where most people ride it on street.
I was gonna say, that's where it lives
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yep.
So- and everybody's bike is that way no matter what they say. It's the design of the engine harmonics is between 18 and 3,000 is the roughest portion of the engine. So over 5,000 it totally smooths out because of the build on this, and it becomes much easier to modulate. So as long as you're keeping it over $5,000, you'll have a very linear connection
Yeah.
that's very easy to feel.
And that bike, I can pretty much run wide open. And I've done ZX 1400, one of the lower horsepower versions. You know, the back end goes like this.
Mhm.
You just kind of move around with it.
Kind of go with it.
You just
Yeah.
kind of go with it. You don't chop the throttle, you die. You know, you don't hit the brakes, you die. So you just kind of go with it and let it move underneath you. As long as you stay balanced, that's the thing I think I'd rather have the foot pegs back a little bit because it lets me keep, besides getting a little bit better tuck, although the radiator's going to cover a lot, gets a little better tuck, gives me a little better where I can move a little bit better.
Yeah.
See, that's
How
what-
does the seat to foot peg distance feel right now,
Oh, that's.
in terms of the height of it?
Probably
Let
very
me
comfortable.
get the ruler here. I'm good on any kind of bike, anything about just for riding.
You said like 19 inches, I think, on one of your
I need
videos. or
19
something?
and a half. It's hard to tell, but it looks like this one's about 17 or something like that.
Yeah. But they're forward a little, so
Yeah.
you get a little bit of.
Well, they could be rotated 90 degrees and be dropped as well.
Yeah, they can come down low.
I don't really need them
for a minute and a half, I'm good.
Okay, okay.
The thing I like is when I'm on the bike,
Further back makes sense.
a little farther back gives me a chance to move around this a little
How
bit.
much
further
farther back? Like 4
Well,
inches?
as far back as he can get it.
Yeah.
But he, like he said, the thing I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to be able to shift.
Yeah.
So, you know, the first mile will be in fifth gear for the first mile.
Yeah.
You know, then at that particular time, and you know, I don't know how important the shifts are really critical with the lower horsepower bikes, because you drop off RPMs and you can't get them back. You know, you shift 200 RPMs too soon, then what happens is it drops a little bit out of the power. It takes you a lot longer. So if you hit your shifts just right each and every time, but moving this, it would hurt my shifting. But with this bike, I don't think that's as
No.
critical.
I think if you
as with
spin
that.
it, I think if you spin it to 6, upshift at 6 until you get to 5th, right? And it'll drop you back to 4, which is where it's not going to try and be super violent and kill you. And then you can ease into it from 4 all the way up, and then you can move your feet, get position.
Yeah.
Because you're never gonna, I mean, it did 155 and a third of a mile. You're not, the distance is not, there's no challenge on getting up to speed. It's gonna be traction and finesse, that's it.
The traction is the problem.
Power being a problem is completely eliminated.
Kind of like
Traction's gonna make you need more distance.
Yeah,
So you can-
with this bike, that bike, I'm not so, you know.
Yeah, totally different strategies though, but that's what you make sense, like short shifting this to make it just smooth to get up there,
Yeah.
and then getting into 5th, getting set and using 2 miles to,
Yeah, see, this bike, we've seen a lot of the Harley Davidsons that come out there. They cough, they sputter. You've seen them build out there. You go, well, this guy's not going to get anything. The time he gets to the 2 miles, he's freaking
200 miles an hour.
200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And you go, I don't even think this thing's going to make it down to the first mile.
It's that bad. It really
coughs
is.
and sputters, and it does not like idling because it's got huge cams, high compression. You know, it's just angry at idle, and he does not happy till you get going.
But I need to figure this one out. So we'll do that probably on our first run. Yes, dear. Safety, guys. Remember, it's always about safety. I don't care what we go. We got to make sure we go really, really safe.
Look at his fucking nose grow.
You're not helping.
I think, was Linda right there? Oh, Linda was right behind you.
Yeah, he knows.
Oh,
You ain't the sharpest tool in the toolbox, are you?
no, I'm not. Never claimed to be.
All right. So the bars would drop.
Move the pegs back as
Move
far.
the pads back.
So for you, there's no as far the further back the better,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. I mean, the height is not it's not going to be the issue. When you start crouching.
Yeah, I know it's awkward.
I just don't know. This is gonna, even with the bars down there. I don't know.
Interesting.
You can change the length of the shifter arm, can't you, if you go far enough back, or no?
So, well, there's an option. You can.
I mean, if you change this to be shorter, then
No,
you drop
I'm
it
not
down?
changing that. That's too much work. This though, you can cut the bar, move the whole mount back, and then have it welded in place, and then you just get a bigger linkage. I have an amazing welding shop in Olympia, and that's trivial work for them. So I'll just get a set of unpowder coated ones and have them chop them and put it together. But yeah, I think what I'm gonna do with the air filters is use my Piper Cross setup.
Oh, I like your Piper Cross.
PX 600. It's a big panel filter.
Small or something, a safety wire or something.
Yeah.
And he give the next time they didn't get any farther, then they got past the safety wire and went to the next thing, then the next thing, and the next thing. So you're human, so they're gonna.
As outspoken as I can be, I have learned at that particular place to keep my mouth shut and just do what they say has to be done, and don't give them any grief. Just do it.
Well,
You are pretty good there. Every place else on the track, you suck.
That might be true.
Here's the one thing I would recommend you do, and it's happened to me. and it's happened to a lot of people out there. Bikes do fall over.
Mm-hmm.
They do fall over in trailers. They fall over everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And brake levers and shift levers
Mm-hmm.
Bring extras.
Have spares?
have at least one spare of
Yeah.
each one of them. I think the weight would be, but you know, the other thing, the one thing I'm worried about is the keeping the bike where the weight is more or less
The same ratio. The
Yeah,
same.
that ratio.
Yeah.
I'd rather have that bike handle better
Mhm.
because I think we got enough horsepower to do the job.
Yeah.
And we'll have enough speed to do the job.
That's true. And the speeds you're gonna go, the lighter front end might not be so good.
It may not be.
If I remember my math right, it's 16% altitude, the DA loss from sea level on power. So the 240 horse bikes were putting down effectively to 201 when they set the 176 record.
Uh-huh.
So this would put down times 0.4, 220. So you're 20 horsepower up on the record bike.
I think we got more than enough horsepower.
Yeah.
If I can ride it.
That's the 100. See the flag?
Got stiffy?
I like it!
Can you back it out? Or are you too old for that?
If you look monkey fucking a football on the dictionary, that's you and this bike.
You sit on my roll infield, you look like a monkey.
Yeah, yeah.
Careful. Oh my God, please put a helmet on,
Huh?
Jerry.
You gotta be careful. He's not stupid.
He's being very gentle on the
Yeah.
shift.
Yeah.
He knows it's a monster. I think he's respecting it.
You can hear that cam, but it sounded smoother than I thought it idled.
Yeah.
It
It's
actually
warmed up
idles
right now.
reasonable.
I rode it over here. When it's cold, it's pretty rough.
It's rough.
I'm a few years behind you.
Oh, okay.
77.
Can't read your face. What did that face say?
I said cold. I needed gloves and a helmet.
Yeah, you did. I was like, you're a madman. It's cold out.
So you've never been that cold and had a boner?
So did it stay?
I did just barely crack the throttle, so if I'd have cracked the throttle, I think it'd have pulled the.
That wasn't at full throttle?
No.
Oh man, it's louder than I thought then.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't even close to full throttle. Because, you know, I need stuff on
Yeah.
and not the neighborhood and kids and all that crap.
Yeah, I was
And
surprised
maybe
you went
even
down the
helmet.
street with the noise.
Oh yeah, well, I'll get a lecture from my wife.
Yeah, thoughts?
Yeah, spend about 5 minutes in 15-mile-an-hour traffic. You'll feel it.
Thoughts
Excuse
on
me.
the tune and how the response is? Are you comfortable with it? I mean, it's not the smoothest bike, slow.
I think it's a lot more than probably. It's probably a lot more than I've had before, and the torque is definitely a lot more than I've had before. So it's going to take some getting used to, but I think that's not a problem. I mean, I'd rather have the problem of getting used to more than I need than having to try to, you know,
Coats more than you said.
strangle something that's not going to give you anything that no matter what
It's
you do.
better for you to move into the bike
Uh-huh.
than to have to
Adjust
get
the
the bike
bike.
to move into you.
I thought some of you might enjoy being on kind of the inside and being a fly on the wall when we're discussing some of this stuff. Of course, we covered a lot of stuff that's not on this video, but I just wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of see what the thinking was going on this. Thanks for watching. Join me and my friends at Flat Cap Cafe Racer for riding and racing. Please subscribe.